Alright, final set of the night, guys. Attero is going to be our teal Protoss in the left-hand spawn on Sandshorn Mists, and on the right-hand side we have his opponent, our purple Zerg Complexity Ryze. Now, TD, a new team for Attero. I'm not sure what it stands for. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Off chance. Attero used to be on VT with me a long time ago, and then I think he's been on a few other teams since then, and he was a free agent for a while, and now it looks like he's settled down with Team TD. So I hope he's happy with his new home. Always nice to have a team willing to send you to events and whatnot.
Well, we do have opening builds already for both these players. Attero gonna throw a pylon down on the low ground of Sandshorn Mists, and always a good indicator that he wants to go ahead and expand right away, because that pylon is going to provide that power radius you need to get, I don't know, forge, cannons, whatever you may want to do, and then get that nexus right afterwards. Really good build against Zerg, always to forge fast, expand. We have Ryze sending out his initial Overlord, and once again, the Overlord just essentially is your mobile pylon. For Zerg, you don't really have a building that provides supply. It's a floating balloon, essentially, that you can also use for scouting. So we already see Ryze utilizing all the tools possible to him by sending out that Overlord and trying to discover where the Protoss is and what the Protoss is doing.
Yeah. Attero looks to be going with real quick forge fast expand here. And I like that on this map. We talked about how it's kind of similar to Shakura's Plateau in that you can expand really early on and probably hold it. The natural ramp isn't so big that, you know, it's not like Tal'Darim Altar where you need some crazy wall to really be safe. And players do forge fast expand on Tal'Darim as well. So here we have Attero scouting out Ryze's base. He sees that Ryze went for a spawning pool followed by gas pretty early on in this game, so nothing out of the ordinary. Probably going to drop a pylon and block the natural as well.
Yeah, and we do have the probe just waiting right now. And this is what a lot of Protoss players will do. They'll leave their probe at the natural of the Zerg, so that when the Zerg comes to try to get that natural expansion down, they're there to block it. They'll build a pylon. They can use the probe to be annoying and make it more difficult for the drone to basically lay down its foundations and become a hatchery. So what a lot of Zergs are doing now is making initial Zerglings to ward off that probe, and that's what we see here with Ryze coming out with 4 Zerglings, and he will repel that probe.
Yeah, he's definitely going to take that probe out. You see the hatchery going up immediately after that. So he is going to expand. And what this basically does for Attero is it buys him enough time to get the cannon up at the front of his base. By, like you said, being annoying with that probe. Probe is going to go down here in one more hit.
The Zerglings and the probe locked in eternal combat.
He might actually... Oh, and he keeps the probe alive. So
but it's actually stuck.
Yeah. I'm surprised Ryze didn't just run up and one shot tap that, 2 taps to the head, take that poor probe out.
Well, it looks like the probe is actually stuck. You can't get back inside the main, and this is something that Protoss players will do. They'll wall off the front door of their natural to prevent Zerg players from running in. This is what you want to do against a Zerg, is always wall off, because Zerg is so mobile, so aggressive. You don't want to ever have any holes that are really exploitable by a Zerg player, and so we do have Attero with that wall off. These Zerglings cannot run inside with the foundation and the defense laid down by that cannon in the background.
This wall is a little bit sloppy from Attero, though. I feel like roaches could just run right up and kill that photon cannon and then pressure their way into the main if he wanted to do so. But I don't think that Ryze is going to go with that. He has a very early third here. He's got 100 gas, and he's pulled off of gas for now. So he's got that third hatchery coming up, and he's just going to save up, probably get Zergling speed here in a little bit, make a few additional Zerglings. There's Zergling speed.
Yeah, and it looks like Zergling speed, like you said, on the way. It's a huge upgrade for Zerglings, just giving them so much more mobility on the map and making them so much faster. But Attero here, you know, one thing I noted, Stargate coming
right up in front too, so it's within
double Stargate,
and it's totally within scouting range of a Zergling.
Interesting.
There's an Overlord in his main right now.
So that
which is
could
headed
be
over
why.
to scout the double Stargate.
This could be actually why he placed him at the front, because there was an Overlord inside his main, but at the same time, there's so much space on this map. You'd imagine he could find another place to put those 2 Stargates where they're out of the vision of the Zerg. But anyways, that Overlord will be killed, so a little bit of supply will be lost by Ryze. But at the moment in time, Ryze really just going into high macro gear. He's got 3 bases. He's got a macro hatchery coming down as well. The one thing he's going to have to hopefully get to deal with the Stargate, though, is more queens, more spore crawlers, or something, because those 2 Stargates are double producing Void Raiders right now, which are very, very powerful air units.
Yeah, they certainly are, and Ryze really just has no idea that this is coming, and he's not preemptively preparing for it. He is going to have an evolution chamber, which is going to allow him to build some spore crawlers, which are ground-to-air defensive Zerg structure that allows you to hit air units, but they're very immobile. They can relocate on creep, so you can actually unroot them and reroute them somewhere else, but it takes a considerable amount of time, and the double Stargate is just something that you need to scout. You need to know it's coming, and you have to prepare for it accordingly, and I don't think he's going to be able to prepare for this accordingly. Attero, surprisingly enough, stopped Void Raid production after 2. I think a 3rd and a 4th might have worked wonders for him, but we'll just have to see how it works out.
Well, he's following it up with Phoenix, which isn't... It's not a horrible idea, but I agree with you. If you've got 4 Void Rays and then you back it up with Phoenix, it's so much better.
Yeah, it really is. Especially if it goes unnoticed. But these first 2 are still going to hit really early on.
But there's a Spore Crawler already.
Yeah, just 1 though. And he will be able to skirt around that and work around that. Looks like he's going to charge up on this Overlord, and now Ryze does know what's going on, so he's going to have to get his queens over to the main. Then prepare accordingly. I don't know why Attero is engaging the Spore Crawler. He might actually kill that first one. Wow, it goes down real fast.
And he kills off the Spore Crawler. Now the Phoenix also coming in and using their Graviton Beam, which essentially levitates a unit in the air and prevents it from doing anything, allowing the Void Rays to kind of pick it off. And now there's no more anti-air except for this Spore Crawler that's about to root down, but the Spore Crawler is being focused underneath the Void Rays, and it's going to go down before it even gets a couple shots off. The Void Rays doing a lot of damage right here, and you know, Attero just catching Ryze completely off guard.
Yeah, he really is. He's doing so much damage right now. Ryze forced to relocate both of those. Attero now making his way into the natural, which is largely undefended. There's really nothing here.
Totally undefended.
And the Hydralisk Den isn't even close to done yet. Attero is doing so much damage right now. Ryze really needs to get out of there. Attero actually tanking all those Spore Crawlers with his Phoenixes right now. I think that's a really big mistake on his part. Gonna lose a few of them.
And he may end up losing the Void Ray. No, he will not. I mean, yeah, he loses a Phoenix, but think about all the damage he's done already. It's just incredible. And he's continuing to kill off Phoenix. This is a massacre right now. From air to ground.
He's not really getting any drones, though, which is kind of a big deal. He might kill this Hydra Den, though, and this Hydra Den is essential for Ryze to continue to hold this off, because the Phoenix are actually going to do great against the first set of Hydras that pop out.
Yeah, and there it goes.
Oh, no.
Only 6 Hydras are going to come out as they are in the production right now, but really, with this many Phoenix and Void Rays, I don't think the Hydras will be enough. No, he's going to lose another Queen. He's got to be careful. Attero will. He loses a Phoenix right there. He's continuing to fly Phoenix now. There are 6 Hydras and a Queen on the map. They are pretty decent anti-air, and it looks like he is just barely going to be able to clean up the Void Rays, but there's still Phoenix up in the skies.
2 more Void Rays coming now as well for Attero, so he's just chain producing Stargate units, and he's done so much damage thus far just with the few Stargate units that he's had. It's really, really impressive.
But you make a good point, Pain User. The fact that Ryze hasn't lost any drones.
He lost maybe a 2.
This is the backbone.
He's already at 86.
Yeah, this is the backbone of his economy. And actually, during that entire attack, you know what he was doing? He was producing drones.
Yeah, he was just droning the whole time.
Yeah, so his economy is still pretty damn solid.
Yeah, it's actually really far ahead.
It's way far ahead right now. But in terms of actual army, I think Attero still has that advantage, although Hydralisks are about to hit the field. You know, Attero, you'd think he did a lot of damage, but actually he didn't do that much.
Or he did, and he just wasn't macroing behind it. Right? He could have been macroing up behind that the entire time. He could have taken a quicker 3rd. He could have added more gateways.
Yeah.
He could have put cannons at the 3rd. I mean, he could be in a much better situation than he is right now. I think he was focusing a lot on that attack and just making sure the micro went really well, but he wasn't macroing back at his base the entire time, and that's something that's really important, and I really just don't think he's going to be able to do any damage if he pushes right now. He'll just lose everything.
Yeah, and at this moment in time, really, it's important for Attero to keep up in macro with the Zerg. You never want to let the Zerg run away with economy. And once they really have 3 bases, they got like 80-plus drones, as we can see here, 78 about. You've got to stay on par with the Zerg. So Attero here is going to have to get the 3rd, going to have to fortify it with these photon cannons that he's laying down, but at the same time, he needs to make sure that he gets some stable units on the ground, which of course is the Colossus. This is one of the most devastating units in the Protoss army, and the more he has of these, the better he's going to be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now he's going to be able to... he's going to take out this pylon in mid here. He does reveal the small Roach Hydra army that he is working with right now. Attero teching straight into Colossus from here. Colossus range on the way, and yeah, first Colossus out on the field, second Colossus going to join soon hereafter, and he's adding his second Forge and his second Robo as well. So he's going to be able to double produce Colossus, and he's going to be able to double chrono those upgrades out and just build up that giant Protoss death ball.
Yeah.
Right now, supplies relatively even for both these players. 155 for Ryze, 150 for Attero.
Wow. We have a grid maze here
Good
going
Lord.
on. Yeah, he is shift rallying those Zerglings to...
looking for pylons and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he just spammed it on the map. But, you know, Attero right now is starting to stabilize a little bit in terms of his actual infrastructure of his army. He's actually getting hard units out that can do damage like the Thermal Lance Colossi. But, having said that, you know, Ryze is getting Corruptors right now.
Yeah,
and
he certainly is.
Corruptors are a great anti-air unit against what Attero's doing right now. Attero's going to have to get more Stalkers or Void Rays to deal with that, and it looks like Attero's going to push into the middle of the map, in the middle of Sandstorm Mist. He crosses the Zonaga Tower. He's rolling his way through right now. This is pretty risky stuff, and Ryze, I don't know, I think Ryze is just waiting for his Corruptors before he engages.
Yeah, he does need a Corruptor squad out before this initial engagement. There's so many units in the air for Attero, and units that he could use those Corruptors to kill, namely the Void Rays, the Phoenix, the Colossus. So actually a huge Corruptor pack would work wonders for Ryze in the next engagement. I think that's really what he needs.
Yeah. And it looks like he's got a pretty decent Corruptor squad
right
now.
God, and he gets caught off guard. Great force fields. But actually choosing not to engage there, I'm not sure why. That would have been great for Attero.
Yeah, that's a pretty position for Attero to fight in. But it looks like Ryze is going to go back around. Attero going to walk his way up to the creep. You know, Attero's got to be a little careful, because if he gets too close here and that Zerg army is all the way on the left, he could get flanked. And he doesn't want to get flanked by that Zerg swarm on both sides. So he's got to, you know, pick his locations wisely. And it looks like now he's going to fall back with his major army and just hold the front for now. You know, I kind of agree with him not overextending there.
Oh, but he's leaving 2 Void Rays in the midfield. There we go. He finally grabs those 2 Void Rays and mixes them into his army. And he's going to head over to the Zerg fort. Ryze wants to get rid of those pylons in the middle of the map, those offensive warp-in points. But
I don't like this position for Ryze at all.
No, I don't either. It looks like he's going for a base trade here. Attero doesn't even finish off the hatchery. I'm not sure why he left that. Just leaves single Stalker.
He didn't even leave the Stalker there. I don't agree with this at all from Attero now.
He's going to lose this base, yeah.
Yeah, if he was in this position already, why not kill off the hatchery before you pull back for defense? I'm not quite sure what Attero's doing. This is really hesitant by him, and I think this is going to cost him majorly.
Yeah, I totally agree. And now he's trying to push his way into the natural and hit a push here. He's setting himself up for a flank, actually. Ryze with good positioning on all sides right now. Gets great surface area. Comes in from every angle. And the Corruptors are going to take out these Void Rays right off the bat. And this engagement actually going to go much better for Ryze than it really should have. I think Attero's still going to win, but Ryze going to do so much damage with these Corruptors. Going to be able to kill all the Colossus as well.
Oh my goodness.
And this is not good for Attero. He's losing so many high-value units. Ryze remaxing with 40 Roaches right now, and he's kept the Corruptors alive, so great engagement right there for Ryze. And takes out the 4th of Attero, maintains his hatchery at the 4th, keeps it alive. So coming out way ahead here, I think.
Yeah, you might not think that Attero was behind there. You might think Attero was way ahead, but it was really the other way around. It's remaxed right now from Ryze. He's at 200 supply again. He's got all the Roaches and Corruptors he needs to deal with that Protoss ball. And it looks like he's going to engage once again with everything he's got. Roaches firing on the Stalkers and the Corruptors focusing down the Colossi. And they are just going to push this entire Protoss army back. And in the background we have Crack upgrade and 40-50 Speedlings on the way. So that is going to be absolutely devastating. And really, I don't know what Attero can do now. He has lost his entire army, and at this point, he could just lose his Nexus, he could lose a third. There's really nothing in the way of Ryze from utter and complete domination.
Yeah, that engagement for Ryze really just changed everything. I felt like Attero was way ahead up until this point. But now he's just falling behind. Ryze has his 4th up and running. He can take a 5th freely if he wants. He has Cracklings on the way, Infestors on the way, 2-2 upgrades. So Ryze a little bit behind in the upgrade department, but Attero did fall off on the upgrades for a second there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's at right now. What's Attero at? I think he's at maybe 3-1 with 2 armor on the way. Attero. He's at 3. Okay, 2-1 with armor 2 on the way. So he's actually a little bit behind on upgrades, and now he's forced to mass cannons over at his 3rd and additional cannons at his 4th. I'm sure he's going to try and remax on Void Ray Colossus here. I actually really prefer or favor the mass Immortal Stalker style in the late game. I think for the first initial push, the Void Ray Phoenix Colossus Gateway Ball is really good. But then after that all gets eliminated by the Corruptors, I think swapping over to Immortal Stalker just to deal with all the roaches and just stomp them off the map is a really smart way to play.
Yeah, Protoss should always be using their tech switches as much as possible.
Yeah, that's really like their real strength.
Well, it looks like Ryze is going to come in here with a lot of Cracklings, man. This could be a game
brutal.
ender.
This is going to be brutal.
He's going to drop. Now, the Overlords, of course, also serve as a cargo carrier, like the Medevac or War Prism in the late game, and that's what we're seeing from Ryze here. He is dropping off a lot of Cracklings, and I call them Cracklings because they finished what a lot of players in the community call the crack upgrade, the Adrenal Glands, and look at how fast they destroy Protoss buildings, and at the same time we have a Roach engagement in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. That Nexus will be cancelled, and the entire Protoss infrastructure is going to be leveled by these Cracklings.
Yeah, Ryze is just totally outplaying Attero right here. He's hitting him in 2 places at once. He's forcing Attero to just sit, and Attero really has no options here. He's just straight up losing the game because of what Ryze has done here. Ryze just killed his entire infrastructure. Look at the map. Attero went from having decent control on the map and having production and having his main. His main is gone.
Yeah.
It no longer exists.
Yeah, it was eradicated in that single blow.
He has 1 unpowered gateway remaining at his main.
The last remnant of the Protoss that once was.
That's all that he has left.
It's like a monument to what there was before. And
yeah.
It's not a very beautiful, pretty monument at all.
Yeah, and look at the supply. He lost almost all of his pylons. Attero currently supply blocked at 68. He has 139 supply out on the field. And it is of high-tech units, though, that's for sure. I don't know why he's massing Immortals right now. There's so many Zerglings out on the field. There are some Roaches, though. There are 20 Roaches, but Infestors and Zerglings are going to be so good for dealing with this unit composition that we see here out of Attero.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And right now we do have a Nidus Worm coming up somewhere on the map. I don't see it at the island, which is being occupied by the Zerg right now. I'm actually not sure where that Nidus is. The Nidus, of course, is the Zerg way of essentially teleporting across the map. They go underground inside a canal and pop up anywhere they please. But at the same time, we do have an attack here as the Colossus was pushed back. One of the Colossus went down. I'm still struggling to find out where that Nidus Worm is located. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure where.
It could just be like at his natural or something. There we go. There's the first one.
Yeah, but did he not make the exit? Or
I don't think he's made an exit yet. And
okay.
Where is he going to make it? He doesn't really have an opportunity yet. Attero's spread so thin right now.
Well, he could certainly just make it inside the Protoss main and have another attack angle, which I think would probably be the best choice. But at this point, man, the Zerg has run away with this game. Anytime a Zerg utterly controls the map in this fashion with this many bases, you're in a lot of trouble. And right now, Attero's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to hold the 3rd right here. He's launched a couple of force fields, but look at the Corruptors. So many Corruptors. It's overkilling the Colossus and the Void Rays, and now it's just going to be ground troops against Immortals, and the Infested Terrans really are going to be so good against Immortals.
Yeah, Infested Terrans are awesome against Immortals, and he's just trading energy right now for kills on Attero's army. Attero's supply is plummeting, and these Infested Terrans are going to kill the remainder of the probes. They're also probably going to kill the 4th Nexus here, and with that, Attero is just in a world of hurt. He has no way to replenish his army. His infrastructure is completely destroyed. And
Changelings.
Ryze just joking with him right now at this point. He has so many extra overseers, sending in an army of Changelings right there. Attero kind of jokingly killing them all. But I mean,
Yeah.
Attero really has no chance in this game. I don't know what he's doing. I feel like,
He's putting up a fight.
yeah, I feel like he's holding on because, you know, he was really close in this game at one point, and he kind of threw it away, and I think he knows it, and he's just sort of hashing things out with himself. Now here comes
my God.
the armada of Brood Lords.
The Brute Lords, ladies and gentlemen, the final siege unit in the skies for the Zerg. It's the highest level of tech you can get. And look at what they launch out as an attack. It's essentially Zerglings that they fire on the ground that do damage, and they can siege anything in the game. And there it is, with Attero seeing that, he knows it's over. There's nothing he can do, and he calls the GG.